Hello and welcome to our latest instalment of On the Spot. Today you join me with the wonderful Steven Ditmyer. Steven is a New York-based actor and director who has dedicated his life to the Meisner Technique. So Steven, for our audience out there, perhaps you could give us a quick introduction to the Meisner Technique.
A quick introduction.
Yeah, just to put you on the spot, so
right.
to speak.
It's a little tough, to always talking about the technique. It's a lot tougher to do than when the actual doing of it, But
because acting is doing.
That's right, acting is doing. But the biggest thing is this technique is, like you just said, is based on really doing. And so Meisner, what he was after is to help an actor to really understand that acting is not pretending, it's not talking, it's not emoting, it's really doing. And everything else comes as a gift. Our feelings come as a gift from really doing something. And basically what he said was, what's the most important thing that we can really do, that you don't have to pretend to do or show the audience you're doing, but really do? You're doing it now, listening. It's probably one of the biggest keys to acting is listening, really listening, not like what I did when I was in university where I was showing the audience I was listening, but to really listen. And to really listen, all of a sudden, if I'm really listening to you, I'm putting my focus on you, and you're listening to me, you're putting your focus on me. So now we can follow our spontaneous impulses. We can do what we do if our focus is off ourselves. And that's what the technique, that's the base of the technique. There's a lot of things you start building on that, but it has to be based on really listening, and so you're not self-conscious, you're not self-aware. You can't live truthfully if you're self-conscious, and that's the basis of the technique. But that's the foundation, right? Really doing, really listening, and then you keep building on that. But it's great.
So you studied under the legendary Sanford Meisner himself at the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York.
Yeah.
What first attracted you to this technique?
What I think the thing I love the most about it is that the work forces the actor to live spontaneously, to live, we say that thing, acting is living moment to moment. This really does that.
And it makes it exciting, doesn't it?
Exciting,
To watch,
risky,
alive.
Scary, exciting, vulnerable, everything, and the funny thing is that's what you have to do when you have text, when you have the scene, text, the scene. But actors get in a lot of trouble because once they have text, the brain starts thinking again, saying, this is how this line means this. This is an I love you line, so I must do it as an I love you line. It is not true. Any line can mean anything. I love you line can mean I hate you.
Yeah.
When you're really living in the moment and working off another actor. Great actors, I think what we really love about them is that we watch it, right? Like we don't know what's going to happen next because they don't know what's going to happen next. I say this to people and people go, wait a minute, what's going on here? Acting is you have to know everything. You have to know all these things, right? And you have to use your imagination. You have to use things that have real meaning to you. You have to know who, what, why, where, when. You have to use the script, take all the clues. That's all the conscious work, right? And then you have to let the unconscious work happen. You have to actually let go.
That's the terrifying moment, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, but it's magical when it happens. It's just great. And Meisner came up with a way to help an actor with this exercise, these exercises, to let go, to truly let go. To do the conscious work, there's things you have to craft, right? Like we keep building. We've been working on relationships and stuff, and how to craft that. And everything you craft needs to be specific, right? And that's how you learn to craft as an actor, how to be specific. Anything general will result in general acting, and which is boring to watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
But yeah, it's amazing. And so, but specific, when you're specific as an actor and you're crafting, then because you're specific, you can let go. Because you're specific, you're singular, you know what you're doing, and then but you got to trust it and let it go. A lot of actors get into trouble too because they hold on. You know what I mean? And they just do one path because they push that. Yeah,
They've set out.
They set it out, and that's not living in the moment. You know what you know, and let it be, and let go in the danger territory, in the exciting territory, the risky territory. I think that's, I mean, as a director, and even when I work with actors, that's what great actors do. It's like control of not being in control.
So, to finish up, Meisner said that it takes 20 years to become a master of acting. So with that in mind, you know, what kind of final words can you say to our audience out there who are up-and-coming actors and filmmakers?
Right. Well, I want to say something about him saying, you know, literally the first day we were with him, he said, "It takes 20 years to be a great actor." And we were like, what? We were day one, you know, we were like, are you kidding me? And what I learned over the years is that, you know, he didn't mean to the date, you know, 20 years. But what he was trying to instill in us is that, like anything to master, you know, to really master, it takes time. And just like a great sports player, a great football player, you know, think about Messi or someone. Think of how much he has practiced and how much since he was a kid he's practiced technique for soccer. So then, or a great Olympian or a great musician or a great dancer, you have to learn technique, right? And learning that technique so it becomes habit. And when it becomes habit, then you don't think, you live in the moment. When a sports player thinks is when they mess up. It's the same thing with acting, but acting is much more mysterious because than a musician or a dancer or singer or painter, because with all those in those mediums, there's the technique, you know, it's more, you know, it's tangible, it's more tangible. You know what you have to, the technique, what you have to learn, like practicing soccer. But it's not, it's like, how do we work the notes, the scales, like a musician does for acting? And so it's a little more mysterious. And that is one of the great things, another reason why I love how Meisner broke it down. It's a real step-by-step process that gives you the notes, the scales, like a dancer, right? The technique,
the marks,
right? To work on that, so eventually it becomes habit, and then you live in the moment. Yeah.
Thank you, Steven. I could listen to you forever. It's wonderful to hear you talk so eloquently on Meisner.
Thanks.
If you'd like to find out more about Steven and his teaching of Meisner in London, then you can go onto the London Meisner Facebook page, or meisnerinternational.com is Steven's new website.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
And thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Great.